Good evening. How are you, Stoned? Sickball FC, Sales by Nicholas, Collectors Paradise UK, welcome. Dinis Tutti, Brazil, como está? Tudo bem? Footballpedia 05, welcome. IVW Cards, thank you everyone for joining in on this chat. In a few minutes, I'll bring in Dave Amerman. For those of you that don't know, Dave Amerman, he's actually at Goldin Auctions, he's the head of consignments and sales. And I believe he's been there a couple of years now, but before that, he's got a history of, a lot of experience in the hobby. I understand it from what I know, over 25 years now. So Dave Amerman is a great guest to have on today. He's the guy I go to anytime I want to send stuff over to Goldin. So I'm sure you'll have a good, good experience listening to some of his experience over the years. He also, at some point, he actually owned his own sports memorabilia auction house years ago. And he also worked for Steiner Sports Auction Division, which I'm sure some of you know. It's probably one of the most famous auction houses out there. So it'd be great to have him on this Instagram Live. Without further ado, let me see if I see him here. I want to welcome also the WBC Kid. Welcome French Footy Stickers. French Footy Stickers, are you from France? Wow. Je parle un peu de français. RGCR7 Cards joined also. That's my friend Ricardo from Portugal. Let me see if Dave is on. I think he is. Let me invite him over. Let's wait until it comes on. Thanks, Sickball FC. Nice to have Dave's insight on the current market. Yep, that's one of the questions we'll ask him. And here he is. How are you, Dave?
Good, Paul. How are you?
Good. What's up, Brazil? I didn't know you were a Brazil fan.
I have a client who works with the team, and this was a gift, so I figured it was the appropriate time.
Very nice. I'm here sporting my Tottenham Hotspur T-shirt. I know that we might have some Arsenal Gunners fans over there, and we don't like each other. But when it comes to the soccer card collecting world, we can tolerate each other. First of all, listen, I want to thank you very much for taking the time. I know today is a busy day for you guys, with another one of the weekly auctions ending tonight. I was scoping out some of the items that I really like, and we'll go over them in a few. But I just gave a brief introduction to what you're about. But, when I read that 25 years of experience in the hobby, when did it all start for you? You're such a young guy. Tell me.
I just was drawn to him. I have an older brother. He started collecting baseball cards in the late 80s. And, I guess wanted to do what he did. And, in 91, I started collecting the cards, and he actually got out of it a few years later, and I just went bigger and bigger and bigger. And by the mid-90s, 95, I was only 12. I was on the Beckett forums trading. I was on these, this is like, these forums were as primitive as could be. You were shipping something with a stamp and a cashier's check and waiting, for the guy to ship it to you on the other side as well. So a lot of trust, and those forums, and they were built up pretty big in the 90s. eBay 1998 was huge for me. In the sporting world in 98, that was when McGuire hit his 70th home run. So there was a lot going on in the sporting world for me. So I was buying things on eBay then and trading and selling. And when I graduated high school, in college, I started an auction house. I realized modern sports memorabilia, there was a hole for the modern sports memorabilia. All these auction houses wanted the old items, and they weren't really about insert cards. And I'm like, hey, if you can get an insert with an autograph now, and we're looking at George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, you name it, or inside of trading cards, I was like, they need a place to go. And at the time, PWCC was doing their thing on eBay. I started mine, Modern Marvels Auctions, and we ran for like 3 years. We actually set a record. We had a Joe Montana football card sold for like 70 grand. We were in the Beckett magazines. I was doing this out of my kitchen. And, once I graduated, I shut it down. I went to work in finance in New York, and about 5-10 years later, I was like, hey, I want to get back into it. I was still buying and selling. And actually, I started selling and buying at a Goldin in 2012. Their first ever auction, I won an item.
No kidding.
So yeah, I was a big game used collector. So I've been buying out of Goldin since 2012. So come 2014, I took a job at Steiner, and then after about 5 years there, I said, okay, I enjoy Steiner, but Goldin is where everything's going, the direction everyone's moving. And me and Ken got together and we connected, and I became his auction manager a little over 2 years ago. And since then, we've gone from a little over 20 something million sales, about 15 employees, to we have 90 plus employees right now. And hopefully in 2022, we're going to do 500 to 600 million in sales.
Oh my God! I mean, it's grown exponentially, and I as you know, just a couple weeks ago, I was there visiting you guys and dropping off some stuff, and you've at least within the same building, you guys have already expanded, taken over the other side of the building. At some point, the whole building is going to be Goldin's, no doubt about it, right? You guys keep expanding.
Yeah, maybe. And Paul, you haven't been here maybe a couple of weeks. You wouldn't even recognize it right now. The film studio, we have a film studio in the back. They just finished painting. There's a green screen. There's going to be a whole set, a live set. We can do box breaks, and we're going to have interactive content. Ken's office was built in addition in the back of the warehouse, or in the back of the office. But we have these booths now up front where if someone needs to take a phone call or a Zoom meeting, they can jump into these, not these rooms that you and I meet to sit down and talk memorabilia, but it's a room like a phone booth, and you can get the laptop popped up. It's really, they're just, it's like we got invested in by TCG, and then, we've got a ton of investment, so they want to feel like a Southern California type company. So we really we enjoy it over there. There's Food Fridays. The culture is great. I never thought we'd get to this point so quickly.
As I was leaving, I did notice some caterer bringing a lot of food, and you just mentioned Ken. By the way, he's here with us. Thanks Ken for checking out this quick live with Dave. I'm not going to take much of his time. I already told him. I know today's a big night with another auction ending. I as promised, I always like to give something away. Dave, I don't know if you saw, but I want to give away 2 packs of these from 2005, 2006. This one in particular, very well. We'll have a box of these coming up in the Elite auction in January. So I like people to pay attention. At the end of this live, I'll ask one question. Whoever correctly identifies the answer, I'm going to give it away to them. So they're going to pay very close attention to everything you say. Listen, one thing that I noticed, and I didn't want to forget, you had at some point, you actually had a show, a collectible show called What's It Worth? I didn't know that about you. But did you know, and I just checked this last night, collectible, I think it is, they have a show with the same name. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars did you give, or did you sell the rights for that show for these guys to take over? Tell us about that.
It's funny. We were big on content at Steiner. Brandon Steiner, he had his show, The Hookup. He was on Yes Network. He was always getting into TV. And Brandon he's a marketer, right? So he one day said, hey, we're going to do this show, What's It Worth? Where you're going to tell people what their items are worth. And it's going to be live. And I was like, okay, I'll bring some auction items on. I'll kind of talk about some of the items. And we did it on Thursdays at 1 o'clock. So it was like a nice midday time. And I would bring up 5 items 10, 20 minutes before we're ready to film it. You're always so busy. Like I almost was like, I don't want to do it. I'm so busy. But Brandon kept, kind of pushing me to stay with it. And we used to get 5,000, 10,000 viewers every week. Actually, wow. Yeah, sometimes we'd pay promote, but I'd go on for 30 minutes. The guys would ask me questions. I have this card. I have this signed item. I have that, and if I didn't know it, I would be honest. But for the most part, it was, normal things that I'd see pretty regularly. So I try to help them out, get things graded, or tell them what to do, because a lot of them genuinely didn't know. And I realized, I'd start going to shows, and other guys from other companies come up, like, hey, I watched that show. You know your stuff, So it kind of just built a little rapport, with some of the people. I was just trying to answer the questions, but it was cool because it was on the fly. They would just be hitting me left and right with me. And when I went.
And Dave, I'm sure half an hour wasn't enough, right? Because I'm sure a lot more people would want to come on, past that. But obviously, time.
Yeah, well, so we have a clock across from you, so you can see how long you've been on. Because sometimes I'd feel like I was on for an hour and it was 19 minutes. Other times I felt like I just got on, it was 48 minutes, and I'm like, I got to get back to work. But it was good because I built some relationships. Actually, I can tell you honestly, there are people I still talk to and sell for and help that maybe met me 3 years ago on the show when they asked a question. Then after the show, we connected on Facebook or something. We talked and we still work together. So I went to the Yankee Fan Festival and we were just set up displaying items. And someone came up to me at the Fan Fest, like not Jeter, but you have like all these ex-Yankees that are there, some alumni. Guys come up and they're like, "Hey, you're that guy from What's It Worth? Can I get a pic with you?" And I'm like, it's a it's a Facebook online show, but it was pretty cool. When I got to Goldin, we were going to, they wanted to continue to do it, and actually we went out and got a camera. But the production quality for me, I said, look, let's wait until we get the right production quality. When we're ready, let's do it. I don't want to put out some content that's going to look like we're not ready yet. It's just not. Let's make money. Let's build the business. And luckily, we hired a content team a year ago. We built the studio, so. Maybe I understand collectible. When I saw that we've already been talking about bringing the What's It Worth back, so we saw that and we were like, okay, look, if they're doing it, we should do it again. So that's definitely on the horizon, possibly in 2022. But there's going to be some other content coming out, so we'll see. There's a lot of big names that are involved in the productions this year, so we should have some good stuff.
That's good. I'm sure back then you didn't get, maybe you got the occasional soccer card or sticker, but nothing like what you're starting to see now. I mean, in the last couple of years, I'm sure you've experienced a jump in the sales. I'm sure we don't have the actual numbers, but on a weekly basis, I remember just a year ago, typically on a weekly basis, the auctions, you would have maybe 40, 50 soccer items. Today, Goldin Auctions is going to 166 soccer items, and that's nothing compared to the next couple months.
Yeah, this is even a little bit smaller, than our normal auctions. We have one starting next week, and we have a big elite in January that will have your box collections in, which I can't wait to see how that goes. But yeah, I think for us, and I remember shopping, I was always trying to look for something different, and I liked Ronaldo. For some reason, I just liked Ronaldo, whether it was the girls liked him and he was good, and just like the combo of Ronaldo. He's just like that David Beckham. You have to like him. So I remember looking for like a sticker PSA 10 rookie of his maybe 2-3 years ago for $1,000, whatever it was. I mean, I probably bid it up to 800 and backed off and said, and now I'm looking at it like, whoa. But I think for us, there was a few things that led to where we're at now. You kind of can watch it unfold. I think the first thing for us was the Ronald Media collection that we got. It was like soccer trophies. It was a lot of Uruguay 1924 World Cup, I believe, first World Cup items, 1930. So you had all this big collection from a museum, and it did really well. Everybody, we were like, we didn't know if it was going to. He was telling us how much it was worth and all these values, and we didn't know. So we kind of trusted. We knew that it was a big collection. I think he bought the museum, the consignor, and it did well. We did a couple 100,000 from it. And we were like, okay, and then people started emailing us with soccer items. I actually used to coach soccer. I watched it a little, but I wasn't like a diehard fan of the professional leagues. In the U.S., there's only so many guys, that end up making it out. I was introduced to Michelle Aker through the attorney that used to work for Steiner, who I stayed in touch with. He represents athletes, and he'd always let me, introduce me. And he introduced me to Michelle and said, "Hey, I've been talking to Michelle. There's a situation. She could use, she could use some guidance, on her collectibles." And introduced us. We talked. Ken, had a convo with her, and more or less, we got her excited about an opportunity to sell the woman, the greatest, U.S. women's soccer player, in the '90s, at least, collection. So I flew down to Georgia. She's living in Georgia. I rented a van, and I went in. We went through. I got her Olympic gold medal, her gold boot award, her World Cup gold, her World Cup bronze, you name it, her Hall of Fame induction, her World Cup shirts, just incredible Olympic shirts, everything. And we did. The collection was okay. I think, if we look now at it, it's different. Just like anything 2 years ago, maybe the values would have been a different level. But after that, and we saw, hey, we did a couple 100,000 in women's soccer there. And I tried to explain to her, look, she didn't know what value to expect. And I said, you've been a pioneer of the sport. You paved the way for women, and you're doing the same now with memorabilia. We don't know. I don't know if your gold medal's 500 grand or 25 grand. We just don't know. But you are going to be the pioneer again in memorabilia when it comes to women's soccer and when it comes to women's sports, really. So I think she was excited about that. We got her, enough money. She wanted to raise some money for a farm. She loves horses. And, at the end of the day, we got, we achieved what we wanted to. And then the next real big thing, I think some boxes that we had sold, some of those mega cracks were big. But I think the Ronaldo PSA 10, when they were going for, 75, maybe to 100, what did we get, 230 or something, and everyone was like,
something
whoa,
like that.
like, crazy. And now we've broken that record even. So it just keeps, it's an incredible investment over the last 3 years. That's for sure.
Absolutely. You mentioned the name Michelle Aker. For those that are too young to know who she was, she's an icon. Before Mia Hamm and before all the current women's national team stars, you had Michelle Akers. I mean, I used to believe back then she could have made some men's team. That's how good she was. And she, big, strong, quick. I mean, she had all the tools. So it's nice of you to share that. I mean, I had no idea that you had that, that you had actually helped her, when it comes to that. But you did mention, I do believe that PSA 10 Mega Cracks rookie is like, there was a soccer collecting before that and a soccer collecting after that. The numbers just jumped off. Let's go back and see something recently. The Alifa, what do you call that?
Oh, yeah.
I keep forgetting. That
The
Pele
Yeah.
PSA 9. I mean, that you guys recently sold. Just last year, the same one. I had the notes here. It was like two something, 288,000 a year ago. And just recently, with the buyer's premium, 900K. I mean, in your 25 years of experience in the hobby, have you ever seen any other athlete or any other sport where in a year's time you see this jump, incredible jump?
Up until the last 2 years, this would have been an impossibility. With what's going on today, there's some examples, but it just shows you that you want to collect the best stuff. I mean, let's just start there. That's the best item, and you could have named your price on it, and obviously that's what happened. I actually know someone who has one of them, and we offered him the opportunity to take the 900,000 or whatever the number. The 900,000, and he declined actually because there are others out there, and he says, "Look, I think that's a $2 million car."
Yeah.
So. Maybe he says, we might see it come back at some time in a later date, maybe later this year in Goldin. Not certain if he feels comfortable, with the numbers that they're going to be. But that's the card. I can say though about that card, it's smaller. I feel like some nines are rare, but I feel like that's a card that maybe there's some people who have those cards in decent shape that maybe just haven't gotten graded. I see some. I just got a raw one from Sweden last week. It's not a 9, but it's probably a 6, so there's some places, and maybe people don't even think they're $1 million cards or $500,000 cards because they're so tiny. But, I do think some of those will come out. We might see some more of them. But yeah, that collection that buy was incredible. It shows you that someone would turn that price down even, when we think about it. It's not just, hey, that was a crazy sale. There was others that said no, so when you think of that, it just shows that we're not there, yet. We're not at the top of the market yet at all. So.
I agree. And you mentioned about the raws, but with today's PSA standards on their grading, I think it's going to be harder and harder to get even, a PSA 9, even if it's in great condition. And I do believe, like this, that's going to be the first $1 million soccer card. There's no doubt about it. Right?
I thought there was a chance to see some, over some of our last big auctions where we had some monsters. We have some big ones coming up, but yeah, I think $1 million's a number that it's tough to get to. 100, that used to be 100,000, and even in the sports world, baseball and memorabilia, where baseball cards used to be king, and you used to $100,000 for a male rookie or something. There was like 3 or 4 cards that hit 100K. Now you open a pack and you have a card that's worth more than that. For numerous, you probably have 3 rookies in one class that are all selling for 100K, depending on the brand of cards. So, the new bar is like $1 million. And the next thing is, when are we going to see that 10 million? Because I think it's coming. We see 5 million numerous times already now. So, yeah, I mean, the first $1 million soccer card, we all waited for the first basketball card. And we got it. It was the LeBron number to 23 that we had sold about a year and a half ago. So, yeah, we probably will see it coming out maybe within the next 12 months, maybe on Goldin Auctions. But if not, I'm looking forward to at least seeing what it's going to be. But there's some of these superfractors out there that are coming out as some of the newer guys.
Sure.
And we haven't seen some of the superfractors or some of the golds, some of the old Prism cards, the original Prism soccer cards that people are looking for. So if one of those cards comes out, it could be huge. I mean, for example, we have the Kaboom Gold in the auction right now, the Messi, and it's doing well. I think it's going to continue to go crazy, but that card's quickly turning into a six-figure number, approaching that number in the auction. I mean, we're not quite there, but we're pretty much halfway there, right?
Yeah. It was at 33 the last time I checked, just before I came downstairs. But one thing I really like, and I think Goldin is doing a great job when it comes to that. I take part in Instagram and Facebook and so on, and I'm starting to see more and more older guys with kids, their son that love soccer, and then throughout their lives they've only collected baseball or football, and now they're trying to get into soccer. And one of the great things I see now on Goldin is assorted lots that you guys have. This is a great lot. I don't know if you notice, it's a lot of 37 cards right now, all SGC and BGS graded. 37 of them with different stars, including Haaland, Mbappe, and Neymar, and so on. And right now, it's at $950. I mean, that's a bargain. Somebody that wants to start, collecting soccer cards, that's a perfect, startup for them. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. We always get creative with some lots. For us, we want to be at least at like $1,000 per lot value. But what happens when we get a lot of $200 cards or $100 cards that are graded? We can only run so many lots at a time before the auction just starts to really drag on. In 2022, we will have potentially some weekly auctions and some things like that where you could go in and get a $200-$300 card if you wanted to start at that level. So what we do now is we would make a lot of 12 or a lot of 15 and, things in common. And I love these lots for two reasons. As a seller, sometimes you get a little bit more potentially than what they're worth because two guys want to fight over them because they're attractive.
Yep. All it takes is a couple of cards in that lot for somebody to say, no, I need that lot even though I only need two cards, right?
Right, and they're not going to sit there and calculate. When it's an auction and you're having fun and you're wanting to win, it's a competition. Just like a box break, you'll spend a little bit more, get a common player worth nothing, but you experience that. So with an auction, if it's 15 cards, I'm not going to go to the guide and go back and forth and look, especially if I didn't notice that until 9 p.m. on the night of the close. I'm just going to get in and just get involved, and I'll take it to where I feel it should go. Maybe there's a card or two that I really like in there. Maybe there's a couple I would never even want. But I love those lots because when you get them, and when I do just end up buying group lots in general from wherever I'm buying them, I just love looking at them when they arrive and saying, oh, whoa, I didn't notice. This is actually a really rare one here. And, it's definitely, it's a great starter lot. And we have a bunch of different, group lots like that. So, yeah, those are definitely recommended lots to go after. And you never know. I mean, sometimes people, fight over them. Sometimes people get a nice card in the middle and make some good money on the other side. So, and usually everyone's pretty happy.
Yeah, and Goldin in the last year or so has gotten even more international, right? We've spoken a few times, and you tell me it's amazing the amount of people abroad that are bidding or even sending stuff over. Just a quick disclosure, you have helped a couple of my friends or people that I just barely know from Portugal that have these high-end items, some mega cracks, Ronaldo rookies. And thankfully, you've been instrumental in helping these guys. Sometimes, straighten out their lives financially. They're not well off because of COVID and so on. So tell me, this is something that Goldin will continue to do. People wanting to send their cards, they want to sell them, but they're not graded. And Goldin has in the past typically helped them get it graded and then put in one of the auctions, right? Will Goldin continue to do this? It's a service more than anything else. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want to serve. I think the issue with this service, maybe a year ago, I'd say probably, maybe even a little longer, the issue became for us that we were wanting to get so much graded and we really want to help the customers. They would send us $200 cards that were like, hey, if this gets a 10, it's worth 900. And, we went just as far above and beyond as we could until we realized, whoa, these are taking a long time to get back, at that time. And B, sometimes they would get sixes, sometimes, so, and then you wait 9 months and then some people get frustrated. So, we went through a period where, we were far more, flexible in getting everything graded. Now, if it's a couple $1,000 card, absolutely, if you have the big, some of the big rookies, or even, you have some big rookies, but you have a couple others, we're happy to help with that service. Anything that's standalone lot in our auction, we encourage send it to us. Don't try to get it graded. I know someone who had he had a Jordan rookie. He had a couple other rookie cards that were all decent, but in his mind, they were 10s, right? Like most people always, they're 10s. So he sends them the PSA with minimum grade like 9 or 9.5. Whatever he put, it was like an impossible order. If I'm a PSA grader, I'm going to get that and be like, that's a joke. Like, I'm not even going to grade this, even if they are 10s, like just because of the way you fill out the form almost, you know? So he paid express at the time. He paid, it wasn't too much. I think he ended up paying 200 a card, or, you know, which at the time, you know, was a lot, you know, it was $20 a card. And they all came back ungraded. So he had originally called someone in the past to do some business. They said, get the cards graded, call me back. So he did this. They didn't get graded. So now when I'm talking to him, he's already spent $600 and change on no grades. We're at square one. So I said, look, let me grade the cards. Let me submit them. They're not going to be 10s, but they might be 8s. Let me get them submitted to the right company for you, because it's not just PSA. Right. Beckett with SGC. Yeah, modern cards, Beckett with thicker cards, Beckett. There's a lot of, sometimes if low-end vintage, you want SGC. Sometimes PSA won't touch a card that Beckett or SGC would, because it's a rare soccer card. A lot of these 60s Pele issues or others are hard to get authenticated. I've gotten some from Uruguay, and maybe like 9 out of 13 didn't get graded. And I knew they were real because they came from, from a country where you wouldn't, exist. And 3 of the cards, 4 were good, and they were all the same paper stock, and they were all a combo. And I know these individuals are diehard collectors. So to me, like, I know they're authentic, and I know they're not saying they're fake. They're just saying, I don't know enough about the issue to put my reputation on it. I wish we could get some of these 50s and 60s issues and even 70s issues in soccer authenticated more so, because I think a lot of new issues would come out that might surprise people value-wise. Some of these cards were beautiful early issues that I was shocked we couldn't authenticate. And as an auction house, we can't sell it. Like, we wouldn't put somebody on the line for that, unfortunately. Or fortunately, so we passed them. We had to return them. So in this case, I took the cards. We got them graded. The grades were decent. I think we got 1 9 and 2 8s, on those cards that he wanted 10s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I explained the values, and I think at the end of the day, everyone was happy. But to me, I could have saved him $600. Like, that was the easiest thing, recognition right there. Another situation with the early. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Sorry, I think I temporarily lost. Do you hear me now?
I'm getting a little bounce back. Okay. Yeah, so I think with getting the cards graded, we can just save you money. We can go to the right spots, and we know, who to talk to. And, sometimes I can show them in person. We can also help get you those cards from the other countries to the U.S., to the gradings, and back safely and securely with our shipping. Right.
So, I say this because I still have some people in Portugal, as you know, that are still waiting to grade these things. They're kind of waiting on PSA to see. I'm sure you've heard the rumor that perhaps they're going to be opening something up, an office in Europe. But just in case, that's still possible, as long as it's a mega crack, some type of a high-end card, that's worth while, everyone's time. I've been on Discord and so on. A lot of people are complaining, or at least saying the market is down right now. Your 25 years of experience, you typically see these up and downs, right? Is this the typical time of the year? At least I think it is. Just before the holidays, when things take a little, I wouldn't call recession, but they take a little time off and pick up again in 2-3 months. It happens with football, basketball, and so on, right? Seeing this in soccer is not something to worry about.
Yeah, I think bigger picture-wise, if we're looking just at the whole market in its cycle since probably the 60s, when you're looking at those, I've got the price guides from the 70s. I've seen the price guides in the 80s. I've studied the price guides from the late 80s and 90s and on, and I've lived it. So I've seen this, but what I've seen is consistent rise over the big picture. It's like the S&P, right, or the market. It's just slowly rising, and it goes up and it goes down, but it gets up. And I don't know if it's a seasonal thing. Obviously in off seasons and times like that, maybe right before the holidays, people are buying gifts. Now, if you have collectibles that are gift worthy, those actually do better. Signed soccer balls, signed jerseys, more novelty type gifts. And actually I've seen people spend hundreds of thousands on gifts for certain, significant, people in their lives. But, I think that it's a different time. I know in January that tax returns coming up, people who are expected 50 grand back, 20 grand back, whatever it is, might want to invest that in cards. And they're usually thinking like that. I know I usually am. I know that maybe I'm more real estate as well. I'm thinking, hey, in March, I'm going to use the tax return. I'm going to use year-end bonus. I'm going to use commission. So you have these times like at the end of the year where all of those things could factor in. So people tend to spend throughout the holidays. So I do like the holidays. I like January. And then obviously we have World Cups coming up. We have big, events that are going to change the price. But I think with the hobby that we've seen is the best of the best items regardless. We just broke the record for the Ronaldo rookie, and it went for almost 80 grand more, almost 100 grand more. And we hadn't approached the previous record, so it kind of hit the record, dropped down a little next couple sales, and then shot past the record. So here we are. The new high bar is back again. And we've seen that with that card since it was 5 grand, 70 grand, 150, 250, 300 and change now. So that's where the bar is at. And I hear these people wanting to spend, the Michael Jordan debut ticket that just sold for 200,000 and change. I remember those when they were a few $100s. Same with the Jordan rookie. Even though the Jordan rookie kind of, hit a pinnacle, that one getting back there, we will get there. It's just, is it going to be a year, 6 months? Sooner or later, there's going to be a few more sales and things will drive its way back up. And I think maybe in 5 years, we're looking at prices now saying, we're double where they were at then, thinking that was always a record. I just think that's going to be the cycle of this. I don't see card collecting, no matter these NFTs, all of that.
I'm not worried.
People love the cards. I've been drawn to it since a small child. They're continuing to open cards. My sons love trading cards. Even though they're not even into the sports, they still like the cards. I just don't see that commodity, and collectability going away. Certainly not in our lifetimes. It's to me, it's in 5-10 years, if I just had cards in my retirement portfolio, I'd feel comfortable. I'd feel comfortable.
Dave, are there any high-end items on the soccer side, obviously, that you are aware of that's coming up on the holiday auction or even the January elite? Any Ronaldo or Messi PS 810 or something out there that you can disclose that you're aware that's coming up?
We're still building the elite sale. The holiday has been constructed. The lot ordering was put into place last week. I don't want to get into too much. What I can say is on Monday evening, we're going to kick off the preview. So we only have 2 days left. There are some incredibly huge cards. There are definitely some vintage Pele big cards. There's definitely some cards. As always, another card that we'll be able to see in the elite sale, which was pulled recently, was I believe it was the 2020 Select Black 1-of-1 Ronaldo autograph.
I didn't even see that. Wow.
It was pulled like a month or so ago, and the gentleman who pulled it contacted us right away. He actually was done. He was done buying into these breaks. His wife was getting on to him. He said, I'm done. I'm going to one last break. And he actually used to split these breaks with his friends, and his friend said, I'm out this time. Whoa. And he pulled that Ronaldo, and that Select Ronaldo, the black with the auto. It's a beautiful card. It's going to come up in the elite sale. But there's so many more. I could go on forever. But
Dave, did that card have to get graded? Because I know typically, all the cards need graded, but something like this, a 1-of-1, do you guys require it to actually be graded?
So sometimes when we get this one we did because it wasn't sealed. When we get a sealed 1-of-1, and it's factory sealed, we don't get them graded. And actually, look, we have someone here, 1-of-1 Beckham Black Prism. Yeah, there we go. So that's an awesome one. So yeah, there's a few. I love these 1-of-1, and then the blacks are so pretty. They really in person are awesome. But the one that we got in was not sealed. So you have a choice. So when you're dealing with a $20K, $30K card, when you're going to PSA, there's going to be a $600 to $1,000, cost on that service. Whereas, where you go to Beckett, it might be $250. However, on the 1-of-1 Ronaldo, we both agreed PSA, even if it costs an extra $750, was going to be worth it in that case. And also with Ronaldo, as you know, his big autograph always cuts off of those stickers. Yeah. So with Beckett, you need to grade that autograph. Whereas with PSA, we just went straight PSA. If we get a PSA 9, it just enhances the overall appeal. You don't want to sell something like that raw. And then that guy, he posted on Facebook. People were offering him when I heard the offers and we talked. Some people are unrealistic when these 1-of-1s are like only the hundreds of thousands. The offers he got, I was like, no, I'll buy it for those offers. Give me,
sure.
I'll buy it. So yeah,
that's nice to hear you share that. I had no idea that it had been full. The constant, somebody trying to get on here. before again, I know it's a tough day to get this done, but I wanted to actually coincide this chat with the ending of today's auction. I saw recently, I got an email from you guys about now. There's something called private sales. I was wondering if you can go over and explain sort of how it works, and if you can also touch up on the vault, because a lot of people forget that Goldin actually has vault services, just like the other competitors.
Yeah, these were both introduced to us this year. I'm like an auction purist. I believe like everything, should be sold through the auction. The auction, if I believe in it, and I mean, if those who've been selling an auction like as long as I have, they just feel comfortable. You're not going to win every single time, but you will win out more of the times. And sometimes I saw someone who just private sold an item for $13,000, and he already had a $70,000 offer on the card on the other end. So you lose the ability to, bet on yourself, I guess, like in the auction, because you don't really know. But at the same time, some of those ultra high end cards, you are like, hey, I don't want to risk selling it for 200 grand because I know I'm going to get 900 grand, right? So
Right.
it's good. It's good at times, for the right needs. Some people are like, I can't live with the stress of an auction. I've actually had people that just can't go through an auction because it's too stressful. I live it every day, but some people they call every 5 minutes. I can't do it. I can't do it. So, and it's just so everyone reacts differently. So that service, the private sales service, it's for higher end items, 50,000 up. If it's an item that there's 12 of them on eBay right now, where they're all over the place, maybe we could sell one but if you want twice what they could buy it for, like, let's be realistic. So if you have like a one of one or something that, hey, I can't put a dollar amount on this, and you want to like us to shop it for you, we would do that. That service could be done as simply as reaching out to us on our website. We have an email, sell@goldinauctions.com. And if you go to our website and you click the sell button, you can fill out a form and you can put in there, hey, I want to explore private sale. I would send that to the private sales team, and then they would find soccer buyers that they buy and sell from regularly. The item gets put into a database where our entire consignment team can also access. So if they're talking to someone who says, I'm looking for this, we can pull it up and we can see who's looking for what. So we have like a wants list and a has list. And so we keep track of these things. So it's not necessarily something that, hey, ship it to us, and we'll see if we can get a buyer. But in some cases where, hey, it's not graded, I'm wanting to give it to you, let you grade it, then we can talk. Then let's see. The vault is another amazing thing. And I think the values of the vault, people don't understand if they have spouses, they have significant others as well. When it comes to vaulting your items, especially for me, I have collected rare items and unique items that I could see a memorabilia dealer coming to my house if I passed away and literally not knowing half of what they're looking at. They could be looking at a debut ticket stub thinking it's a regular game that I attended or, something like that. So when you vault the items, you get to put a good title with them. You can write down the passwords, leave them in your safety deposit box, leave them in your will. You can do things like that. Then you're already associated with Goldin, so you have a trusted selling partner. If again, this is estate planning, vault, but there's other reasons for vaulting. You can easily pull up a list. You can see the images of your items, and it's insured and it's safe. Right. I come home and I can't tell you, hey, where's that $10,000 item? Hey, where's this or where's that? I think we all experience that. Where we got 100 grand sitting in the closet and we're not like worried at all about it. But when you start to think about it, if that disappeared, I know it's never going to, but if it did, I got nothing on that. I can dig up receipts and file a report, but there's nothing there. So you're getting the insurance coverage. And I'm laughing at the comments. But the insurance coverage for me is the big thing, and to know what's in there. And for me, it actually helped me evaluate. If you want to make another big purchase and you have a certain amount in the vault, then you could say, hey, I got 250 grand in the vault. I want to go buy this real estate. I'm going to go sell these X amount of items. And you're able to share your vault lists with your friends or other people, and they can do some shopping for you. And hopefully here in the near future, we will be able to put those items that are in our vault live on our site with prices or best offer amounts, and people can come and make offers as well. So you can be vaulting safely and securely for your family. And if someone wants to buy it, they will, because I think we all have those stories Oh, someone offered X, someone Y, but I didn't want to, but now it's like a real life scenario where it's in the vault, it's worth X, but now you have the offer, you have the opportunity to take it. And I think a lot of people regret not taking the opportunity when it comes. I know I've had opportunities that I said no. And then 2 years later, I was like, man, I should have sold, never get that price again. So it's a good opportunity to just kind of show off your collectibles without having to keep them on eBay or keep them online forever and kind of overexpose them. I think the vault's like a little bit more prestigious way to like show off your collection, but yet let a high-end shopper go in there and actually, make you an offer on something.
Two quick questions before I let you go, Dave, about the vault. So is this something in New Jersey, in the premises, or is it somewhere out of state? And the last question about it, I know you guys offer right now until the end of the year, till the end of the calendar year, there's some type of a free submission or something. Can you just explain that before I'll let you go, please?
Absolutely. So the vault is located in Delaware. We're in South Jersey. So we're about 15, 20 minutes from the Delaware border. So it's right
and there's
there.
A reason
Delaware.
for that. And there's a reason for that, right?
There's certainly a reason for that. There's advantages because Delaware, obviously, the real estate price compared to Jersey would be one big one. But if you're bidding, you're winning items in an auction and you're shipping them within New Jersey or other areas and things like that, you're going to have, you have to pay the tax consequence on that. If you're storing it in a place and you want to keep it there and your plan is, and it's going to come back to gold and you're going to sell it at some point anyway, it's almost like never necessarily leaving our hands. So you don't have that, so when you have that ability and when you're buying hundreds of thousands of dollars, like a lot of people are, these numbers are astronomical and it just makes collecting, when you're bringing that element into it, it makes it like you're investing. Imagine having to invest taxed money already into more tax money and then to get taxed on the way out again. It's like triple jeopardy over here, So at least in this case, there's just a much safer way to go about storing your items. Free shipping, if you win an item, when we bring it to our vault, it's free shipping. We immediately will put it up in there so you'll see an image of it and you can access it. And with NFTs and everything getting all crazy now, you own a physical asset, but you also get the digital copy, from us and it lives on our site. But in terms of the free vaulting service, it's a great deal because how many times did I say I'm going to go rent a safety deposit box? I'm going to do this. And and the reason I didn't do it is because I don't want to spend hundreds a month on storing my collectibles. And then after years, I'm like, I'm upside down and backwards. Like I lost money. Why'd I even have these things? So we're going to offer free vaulting service if you can get to us here in the next few weeks before the year is out. And the only charge you would have is if you wanted your items out of the vault rather than selling them through a Goldin service. So if you said, hey, I'm going to auction them, no charge. If you said, hey, ship these 3 back, I want to private sell them, what we do is there's an insured value amount that all of your items, you fill the insured amount and we put it on there. And then if we do return the item to you, we charge you 1% of that insured amount. So if you had your item in a vault for a year and you had a $10,000 item, it cost you literally nothing. It cost you $100 for a year of vaulting. If you didn't sell it with us, if you sold it with us, absolutely nothing. So it's too good to be true, but we're not doing it to make money. Like we're not making money on the vault. We're just doing it for the opportunities to work with more people and get access to more collectibles, offer more solutions and more options for our customers, and just grow our brand. Really. So it's something that when they say take advantage of it, I mean we're literally offering something that if this was a startup and we didn't have, capital, then this wouldn't exist. But because we can offer this service right now, it's a great deal. And I've done it myself. So I would recommend it as well. I couldn't believe if you've never vaulted with this list, you should try it because you'll never go back to just keeping your items, in the closet.
It's definitely a win-win situation for everybody involved. There's no doubt about it. And I said 2 things before I go. The last thing. People can actually consign with Goldin Auctions, and they can do it directly with you, right? They can still do it?
Yes, absolutely.
How can they contact you? I forget exactly what your Instagram name is, but they can easily find it on the website.
Instagram's easy to get me. I'm on here. There's not going to be the same response time on the Instagram as there would be on my email. On Instagram, I'm just Dave A. Cards, just like my name, Dave Amerman. So it's just Dave A. Cards. And my email at Golden, I'm the first Dave in the building. So I'm Dave at GoldinAuctions.com. So I've
There
got
you
a
go.
real easy email. But if you go to the site and you go to the sell tab and you fill that out, I get 100% of those as well. And I usually distribute those to the team. But if for some reason you wanted to come directly to me because you felt that I
That's
was
what
going
I
to,
do.
help you out, I like to take care of everybody. And I do. I have people that reach out that are like, no, I just wanted you. But they know that I care, just like all of our guys. We care about our customers. We're going to fight for them. I'm the head of this department. So some people might say, hey, but Dave might get more bold to put me, in this lot versus that lot, But, I try to take care of everybody I can. And if it's not for me, and it is still for Golden, and I would introduce you to someone. We have employees now in London, as you were mentioning with the
Wow.
yeah, we've got our first employee in London. I saw he was on the thread earlier, Jamie Salt. So Jamie's going to be working the
Oh,
local scene
Jamie. I
there.
know
Yeah,
Jamie. That's no,
he's a diehard collector. I was really impressed.
he's
A
an
young
Arsenal
guy.
fan, though. He doesn't like this. He's Arsenal, I believe. That's not good.
Yeah, and Jamie's, he's a great guy. When he came on, we just knew like, hey, he's passionate. He's a collector. He's been a collector forever. He just loves this. And, we all do. So that was the start. We're looking into Australia as well. We're looking into the Asian markets to go out there. But yeah, if you guys want to consign, I would say just reach out direct if you have anything on Instagram, wherever. We always try to get back to everyone like same day. So if you haven't heard from someone in a day or two, either your item is that bad that we're, just maybe we're trying to figure out a way to put you down easily, or, then I would just think that maybe somebody didn't get to it or missed it. But don't hesitate to reach out direct if you, have an issue with anything with Goldin Auctions. I build a lot of these auctions. I head up the construction of the auction team. I handle a lot of the authentications and a lot of the product and pricing that you see in there. I'm kind of reviewing and going through. So, please feel free to reach out to me if you need something. And at the very least, I can do my best to help you out.
Dave, thank you very much for your time. I had tried to promise you it was going to be kept under 30 minutes. It wasn't. It's 45 minutes. I really appreciate your time, and good luck with tonight's auction. It ends what? 10 o'clock? The bids have to be in by 10 o'clock Eastern time, I believe?
Yeah, session one tonight is the first 961 lots. 10 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern time is the end of this one. And then tomorrow we have session two, and that's going to be from lot 962 to the end of the auction. So tons of soccer in there, tons of cards, tons of game used and memorabilia in session two. It's a great auction. There's definitely some great deals right now. So yeah, if you guys are watching, I would say jump in there and you might find some things that, you can get for yourselves.
Great. Thanks again, Dave. And for the rest of us that are going to stick with me for a little longer, I have a few things to go over, including, don't forget, I'm going to give these two away. Dave, I'll let you go. Appreciate it. Now, we'll be talking soon. Also.
Take care, Paul.
Thanks again, Dave. All right, guys. So that was Dave Amerman. I hope you guys enjoyed, the wealth of information that he has when it comes to auctions, when it comes to the soccer card market. I mean, in general, this guy is very knowledgeable. 25 years of experience in the hobby. He knows what he's talking about. So again, if you have any, again, it doesn't have to be something high end, be it soccer, baseball, football, or so on. Goldin Auctions is the way to go. You don't get those shield bidders, from eBay and so on. And, Dave is a great guy. You can contact him directly. He gave his Instagram account, Dave A Cards, and he'll be glad to help you, sell some of your items. So like I said, I'm still giving these two things away, but at the end, I just wanted to kind of go over two things that I've spoken about in the last couple of weeks for those that joined me, and I did have a little bit of a pushback. I don't know if pushback is the actual appropriate word, but when I spoke last week on the live with Vince Massara, who was Soccer Cards Rock, and I mentioned the difference between the fake and the good Cristiano Ronaldo cards, and I showed these two cards where one of them is more, he has a more tan, I believe this one has a more tan face on him, and the other one is the more common one. And then I went out to basically let everyone know some of the features that are very noticeable on the fakes. Including the one that I mentioned about the vertical line that goes alongside this, your left side. After the white part, the white border, you see it's a red line that goes across. A lot, not a lot of people. I had some people message me and say, "Oh, why did you give that away?" To whomever is doing these fakes, they by now add that type of feature into their fake stickers. I honestly thought about this months ago before disclosing this, because that is very well known, at least to some of us that have dealt with these stickers for many and long years. The reason why I did it, because I think that whoever is going to try to use this information and basically apply it now on a new fake version of these stickers, it's going to be very, very hard to replicate that. I mean, I'm not, what do you call it, a Photoshop expert by any means, but I do think that if they're going to try to include this now in the new version, it's going to be so noticeable. And it, at some point, where's the word that I'm looking for? Give me a second here. It would be so saturated on here for them to try to have the red vertical line that you'd make it way too noticeable, and it would be even more, how can I say this, more evident that this is a fake. So that's the reason why I went and decided to give some of this information, because I kept repeating myself basically on private messages that I was receiving for tons of people and giving them back. So I figured, let me publicize this, let me disclose and identify some of these features to make it a lot easier for people that can now do it on their own once they're looking to buy either a raw or even a graded, Becca graded Ronaldo sticker. They can see it for themselves once they have the list of these things. So that's the reason why I say, I just try to help. And again, I think it's going to be something very difficult that they're going to have to try to replicate that, because they're going to saturate it and it's going to be way too visible, making it, okay, this is clearly a fake. All right. Now, the other thing I wanted to go over before we close this down is, was the last week or 2 weeks ago that I showed this Becca graded index or checklist of the third edition, one of the third edition series from the famous 2004-05 packs, where you get the Messi card. So I had some people actually message me afterwards and say, listen, I have 3 or 4 of those packs, but I don't know whether they're third series, even though I bought them from an owner, a previous owner, that he said that it's definitely a third series. But I honestly don't know of any way that you can identify from the packs themselves. And again, I'm repeating myself from the other live that I did. Perhaps if anyone knows of people that have these packs, I'll be curious to look at the UPC code to see if it's any different. I really doubt it. But one of the things I did tell, this person that contacted me with a couple of these packs, said, listen, you won't really know. If you want to save the investment that you had, you probably paid a good amount of money. You should either get it, slabbed with PSA and then sell it at some point, or if you really have the urge to open it, and search to try to pull a Messi, do it. Open the first pack, open the second pack. If you don't get any of these BIS cards, we call it BIS cards, which, as everyone knows, the Messi is also a replacement card, a BIS card, number 71. If after opening up the two packs, you don't get any one of these BIS cards, then I mean, most likely the packs that you have are not from third or even second edition, because starting from the second edition, you start getting the BIS cards. And again, if you don't get one of these, listed from 10, I mean, I can, if you guys want, I can share this checklist with you with a picture on my Instagram, for example, so you can have a list of the players that only come out in the third edition. But one thing I wanted to be clear also, because some people were confused. In these third edition packs, you don't only get just these BIS players and the regular players that didn't get replaced. You're going to also get second edition BIS cards, okay? I hope I'm clear with that. Some people think, oh no, you're just going to get the third edition on these packs, and basically that's all. But no, you get a good a good variety of things, including the second edition BIS cards, because Panini had to basically get all of these inserted into the collection. So I'll share that card in with two pictures with a lot clearer picture to see, so you guys can see and the list of players that were available. let me just see over here. Sick Ball FC says that's useful for the community. Totally support your move. Yeah, I really think I kind of weighed in. Okay, I know some people are going to say, well, why are you doing that? You're ruining, it was kind of a well-kept secret. No, I don't think so. I think it would do a lot more damage for us to just hold it on to ourselves and continue to get all these questions and emails and messages asking what are the features, what are some of the things to look for. And instead of me holding on to this, I figure I'm going to let this go and have people can do it themselves. I appreciate that. Paul C, the 2002 Ronaldo sticker PSA 10 at 85 now at gold. You know what? I didn't even notice that it was on. You sure it's at Goldin? Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I see the next one. Sorry, PWCC, not Goldin. Yeah, I was going to say, because the highest soccer card right now on tonight's Goldin auction is the Messi, the 10, the number 10 of 10. It says jersey number, but he's no longer 10, obviously, with PSG, and that's at 33,000. Actually, before I came down, I don't know if you guys, speaking back to Goldin, if you guys noticed also a few months ago, a few months ago when we had the Messi card that he used when he was a little kid, maybe 8, 9 years old, playing back in Argentina. That's what I guess he used to come into the games and so on. Now they have something similar. They have a Pep Guardiola, 1986-87. They call it the younger rookie, 15 years, and it's signed by him. You can't even tell that it says Giuseppe Guardiola. That is at 1,600, and it's not graded by Beckett, but they're going to have a certificate of authenticity. Did I say that right? Once they get it, but it is going to get it authenticated. And again, some of you that are just starting with Soccer Collectibles, I mentioned to Dave, and he agreed. I mean, there's a nice little assorted lots of cards, 37 different ones. Before I came down, it was 950, and again, it includes. I think they're all graded, if I'm not mistaken, and they also included some Hollands, Mbappes, and Neymar. So $950, basically $30-something a card right now. I'm sure it's going to go up, but that's a nice feature on Goldin Auctions tonight. So guys, I guess that's it. I don't think is there anything that I missed over here? West Ham is the best in London, says Stones Shatters. And that's your opinion. The majority wins today, and people are saying Tottenham all over the place. Anyway, long story short, I don't know if some of you guys know why am I a Tottenham fan. Glenn Hoddle was my favorite player ever. I don't know if you guys ever saw him play. Maybe most of you guys are a little young, but thank God for YouTube. Look him up. Glenn Hoddle, to me, the best English player ever. You just go see some of his goals, some of his passes. To this day, I really don't know whether he was lefty or he was righty. And ever since then, I fell in love with the Tottenham. And over the years, I'm not going to leave my team and jump on bandwagons. So yeah, look him up, Glenn Hoddle. To me, the best British player ever. Son is my favorite current player. I like him, but nothing compared to Glenn Hoddle. Seriously. Go to YouTube and spend an hour or so browsing some of the videos. The guy was just amazing. Actually, I tell my friends that I don't know about him. I tell them if there was ever a player from England or anywhere from the United Kingdom, anywhere around there, that played almost like a Brazilian player, very technical and so on, it was him. I mean, on the field he stood out because of his moves, his vision, his passing ability, his scoring touch. I mean, just amazing. Look him up, guys. Really. I know. I have a question to ask you guys. I was about to let go of this, right? All right. So one question for you guys. Whoever I see coming up first with the correct answer. You guys know about this. These are the Mega Cracks 2005 and 2006. On here, you can get the Ronaldo. Was it third year? Let me see. Second year with Manchester United, because he was there 2003, 2004, and this is 2004, 2005. Even though it says 2005, it's from the 2004, 2005 release, and this is 2005-06. You could also get Ronaldo here, and you get more star players. Panini Portugal at that time came up with a Craques no Mundo, which is stars of the world, and included players like Ibrahimovic, Totti, Casillas, Buffon, Ronaldinho, and Ronaldo, the Phenom. So you can get a good selection of players here. All right, so here's my question for you guys, and I'll shift this out when I see the correct answer. So in the beginning of this live, I mentioned that Dave at some point actually had a show that people called in asking, how much some of the items that they had would be worth, if they were to sell them. I need to know the name of the show that he had. Can you guys remember what was the name of the show that he had? And it's now on Collectible TV, by the way. They used the same name. No, the giveaway is happening right now. I need a question. What's it worth? There you go, Stoned. All right. I really can't give it to a West Ham. Well, a West Ham, I'll tolerate that. All right. If it was Arsenal, I wouldn't. Congratulations, Stoned. You got it correct. I'll check in with you after this with a private message, and I'll get your address, and I'll mail it out during the week. Congratulations, you got it right, guys. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. A different topic this time around. I'll try to be use a lot of variety of stuff within the soccer collecting world. I appreciate your time. We'll do it again sometime, maybe next week. Guys, thank you very much. Good night.